Look forward to the. All right. Got it. Awesome. And I'm going to be. I wonder if I can screen share and still have the access to the board with everyone's hands. Advanced sharing option, one participant at a time, multiple. Nope, just me, host only. That sounds great. All right. Let's see what my options are. I can start a whiteboard, but I haven't used that near enough to know what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and is that screen or app? I think that is screen. Yeah, going. Yes. All right, very good. Okay, all right, that's how I do it. And then I can expand that to see the group on another screen. Awesome. Hallelujah. Looks awesome. And I think I can actually see the screen I'm sharing. That's fantastic. Okay. Well, howdy, howdy. My name is, oh, this is going to be all right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining Practical Sigilization. My name is Shen Tan, Shentat. And just a little bit about me really quick. I've been doing my thing in witchcraft and neo-paganism for a lot of years. Probably I'm 56, so certainly for 30 years, 40 years. Oh my God, don't get old. And have been running Coven and teaching since the pre-2000s, and have been kind of a old guy around town, probably since the 2004, 2005, right? And what I mean by old guy around town is I like Alex is, I was leading public ritual, I was organizing for large events, I was as well doing all these things in community, as well as trying to manage my own personal practice and hold down a job and like all the rest of us do. Now I work and I have my practice and I do these classes and try and share as much as I can with you all, but you know, the real proof is in the pudding, and it's all in the work that you guys do, that you get the mystery. And I just had this talk recently with Jackie about the difference between esoteric and exoteric, or inward and outward mysteries. Outward mysteries are what I teach. They're teachable things, ethical skills about witchcraft. The mystery, or the esoteric mystery, is what happens inside you when, instead of just using the tech starts using you. And transformation starts occurring, and change starts occurring, and manifestation starts occurring. And that's always unique to your experience, which is why I always say mileage varies. So please be aware that your experience within this, as well as any magical practice, will be uniquely your own, and really grows with doing the practice, committing to the practice, and reviewing the results. Awesome. So that said, as kind of a philosophic base, that's where I'm coming from, right? These classes, unlike others in the series, are both independent and linked. So you can take one of these classes or you can take all of these classes. I'll let you know now, if you commit to all of the classes, and that is both either in person, doing a class like this right here with me now, right? Or watching the video completely and doing the practice as the video and it's you too. If you complete the entire series, I will also offer, for those who complete it and can commit to a stand and deliver, and I'll talk about what a stand and deliver is in a moment. If you allow yourself the opportunity to stand and deliver, I will guide you through an initiatory ritual on COTW Coven land as a special retreat for those people who complete this course completely. That said, there are, wait for it, 22 classes in the first arc of this series. Oh, yeah. Yep, the second arc will have 22 more classes. So the intent is for us to, yeah, woohoo. Jackie's excited. She's like, whoa, let's do it. But so the intent is that we're going to walk all the way down the tree of life and the tree of death. Those will have more context as we dive into the work. And then we're going to walk back out from bottom to top. So we're going to start in the Empyrean realm of all godhood Heather. And we're going to walk our way all the way down to the deepest pit of hell and then walk our way back up after we've had a good view and review of our own complex. Watch out for that bumpy ride. Here it comes. But anyways, okay, so let's give you guys some context. For those of you who have never taken this class, what is a sigil? Okay, all right. Well, let's take a quick look. Let me get this. I want to pop up self-hidden because it's getting in the way of my menus. Does it go away? Alex, how do you make it auto hide? Is there an auto hide? There is none. Okay.
I don't think so.
No, I'm not seeing an auto hide option. Okay, let me see. We need to drop these windows out of the way, out of the way, out of the way. Okay. We're closer. Yep, I want to keep that up. I want to keep this up. Okay. And I want to get at my material. This is such a pain in the toot. There. Here. Yeah, well, materials. Okay. Sorry, guys. Should have had this ready for you. It's not maximizing. Okay. I can't figure out why I can't make my windows do what they're supposed to do. All right. What is a sigil? So just so you know, sigil is a line-based meditation tool that helps us focus intent and power towards the end of either altering ourselves, altering our points of view, triggering manifestation in the universe, physical manifestation in the universe. It can be a touchstone for magical work, as this one that you're looking at was for me. This was during a 40-day working that I committed to, and this sigil actually grew from a single line to the final sigil that you see here, which are the hieroglyphs for all of the gods underneath not only the Ogdoad, but also of Almanad. and an appeal to my own God soul, and an appeal to the God on my head, Set, to help me kind of trigger some change in my life. And so line based, right? And towards a goal of manifestation. It also can be a mnemonic. It can be what I call an orienteering tool or device that helps us orient our way. This is a piece of jewelry I had made with, of course, the 10-pointed star in the center, each point of which corresponds to sex, pride, self, power, and passion, as well as knowledge, law, wisdom, love, and liberty. And a concept that is called pearl, iron and pearl in my tradition. So part of that is to kind of help me remember who I am, and also to bring energy into my practice. This particular piece was a meditational, what I would call an invocation. So this was an invocation of the guardian of the north, power of earth. And as you can see, it's line based again. Now, sigils have I've given you in the course materials, which are all here in the shared folder, which I'm going to drop into the chat right now. Open the chat.
Also, for those of you who have access to the divination website, all of this is already up on the website for you guys to look at after class.
That's right.
Or right now, whatever.
Yep. So anyone with this link can get into this folder. Please do not add files. Please do not delete files. These files are for everyone to use as a resource. And I've given you in the top portion of this folder a bunch of ideas, talisman use for sigil, devotional working, as I mentioned, divination, as interrogation. This particular sigil I created to help understand the souls in the Egyptian pantheon and how they map to the Kabbalistic tree of life. This one, another investigation into the intersectionality between Erzuli and Lucifer in their role as a light bearer. As invocation, these are the Anunnaki, or the guardians of the outer dark, the demons of chaos that rule each 5 degrees of the ecliptic, that you can use for divination or invocation. All of these line-based images are different sigils. Now, part of what I'm hoping that I can kind of get across with this is that a sigil is really just a set of lines that you put on the page with intent, and then you charge the intent with a specific practice. The practice I'm going to share in every one of these classes, because the classes can be either individual or they can be taken as a series. So if you take this series, you're going to hear a lot of repetition about the practice. And the practice is really very simple. There are 2 basic practices for casting a sigil. Once you have a sigil drawn, so let's pretend that we're going to cast the sigil for the Coven of the Witches, the coven that I actually run. Here is our sigil with our banner. So the sigil itself is this pentacle and triple-horned goddess surmounted by the Ankh with an inverted and upright pentacle and pentagram in its center, triple in circle, right, to create a true spell. If you were to cast this, the practice is very simple, and this is where you'll want to start writing stuff down. Practice number 1 is box breath. BOX breath, box breath. And it's called box breath because all of the four sides of this breath are of equal length. Okay, what does that look like? That looks like inhale, hold it, exhale, hold it. Inhale again. And you keep that length 1, 2, 3, 4 count, 1, 2, 3, 4 count, 1, 2, 3, 4 count, 1, 2, 3, 4 count. You hold that. With your inhale, hold it, exhale, hold it. And on this pause where you hold it, you take the energy from each breath and store it in your body. As you continue, and casting should take at least 5 minutes. If you're not taking 5 to 6 minutes to cast your sigil, you're not going long enough. You really need to store energy looking at the sigil. So if I were casting this, I would be staring at the sigil, burning it into my retina, right? And I would be taking the energy from my box breath and mingling them up in both my imagination, in my psyche, in my physical self. If I can stimulate myself in any way in addition to the box breath without losing my concentration, I should, and I encourage you to. So you would elongate this breath to go from a 4 count to a 5 count to a 6 count to a 7 count to whatever it is that you can tolerate without dumping your exhale or gasping on your inhale. If you can hold a 9 count, 12 count, 20 count, hold the count. Store the energy. Allow the image to fuse with your consciousness. You don't even need to think about the intent of the image. It's already built into the image. So all you have to do is pull the image in and cycle breath through your body until you get to about 5 or 6 minutes. The point where it really is burnt into your retina and you can look on a wall or a blank space and see its inverse light reflection, when you feel it like beginning to surround and permeate you, when you can't hold any more breath or attention, when you start yawning, that's the point where you take your final box breath intentionally. And then on the end, so I'm going to do my box breath intentionally for my casting, right? So I'm going to go. And I'm going to sit more in and sit more and sit more until I can't think I can take anymore and sit more. Hold it, store it, get it ready. And then just all of it, all of the energy, all the force, all the attention you can. If you can exhaust yourself to the point of needing to lie down with casting, you've done it right. Lay down, close your eyes. That's it. Forget the sigil, put it away. You're done with your casting. That's casting number 1. Okay. There is a second method, and that's the masturbatory method, where you would, in your own erotic space, generate the sigil. Now, I personally always want to have that on a Faravash or a fetch, where I project that into the chest of the Cthulhian tentacle beast that's raping me at the moment, or the happy little tattoo on the awesome furry 8-armed Machamp that I'm playing around with, or the I may see it emblazoned onto the forehead of the demon that I'm romping in my erotic space with, and you masturbate through at least 6 minutes, raising energy, holding it back, until you get to the place where you absolutely cannot stop yourself from your own orgasm. And when you do, you release all of the orgasm into the sigil. Then fall back, allow yourself to breathe normally, close your eyes, forget the sigil. Question. Okay, no questions. I'm going to presume that everyone kind of understands what they're doing. So what we do in this class is we attune ourselves to sort of a vibration with the meditation that we go through. That meditation is almost always numerically or magically pegged to concept, idea, astral place. In this particular series, we're going to be pathworking down the Kabbalistic tree of life and down the Kabbalistic tree of death. And what you will do when you walk away from that is you'll allow the meditation to kind of retune and re-physic you, and then you'll draw your sigil. So you will need a pad of paper. I prefer a pencil at first, but then I want to use pens, and then I want to take a picture of it, and then I want to use my Photoshop or PixArt or any number of other programs to zhuzh my sigils. And in the process of elaborating and fleshing out, I hone and fine tune the intent of my working. You will want enough so you'll want at least 22 pages, right? I prefer blank. However, I have used graph paper in the past when I really want the kind of like the sort of accuracy that you can only get when really you have graph paper. And you're like, I want these angles to be this angle, and I want this corner to be exactly 90 degrees, and I want these sides to be equivalent in length, and. So I've used graph paper in the past. I'm using blank paper right now because I want really a much more organic feel to it, and I want to explore the page with my sigils. And the front is for your sigil. We're going to use both sides of all pages. The back, for each one, we're going to draw 2 lines on it. So if you have a sheet of paper, you can grab that now and prep it for the sigil that you're going to draw later. And you're going to prep it by drawing 2 lines. Okay. Oh, see. All right. See what I've done? I've created 1, 2, 3 spaces. And these spaces on the back are for the first, the second, and the third casting of the sigil, and gives me a place to journal afterward. So first, second, third, for my sigil, which will be on the front, I will have a place to journal the results. And I want to talk about the kind of what do I mean by results? Santa, what do you mean by results? Okay, let's say today, because today we are actually doing this, we're doing a sigil with 10 lines. And let's say after your first casting, you find the next day that the number 10 just winds up everywhere in your life. So, or let's say 10 is conspicuously nowhere in your life, or you see 10 birds, or you meet 10 new people, or.
Hey, Shantat,
Yes.
Rain is asking if she can see your paper again so she can see how to lay it out.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, see, it's the complicated. Okay, I don't know if you could see. You probably can't. It's probably not dark enough because I did it in purple ink. Let me try it in black ink, and I'll do it a little thicker.
I don't think we're seeing anything though, Shantan.
I'm not seeing
Yeah,
anything.
it's because I have the blur on. I should turn the blur off, and I think you'll be able to see better without it.
A drive template still up.
The what template is up?
If you
Yeah, my
stop,
drive.
if you stop sharing your screen, we'll be able to see the image of you much bigger and clearer.
See what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, very good. Let's do that. So I'll stop the share for a moment. Awesome. So
Okay.
this is what I'm trying to do. So I've got 1, 2, 3. And this is on the back side of your sheet. Okay, so each of your 22 sheets on the front will be blank. That's where your sigil will be. On the back, you have 3 places to journal. So you'll cast on one day. So like, let's take today's class, right? You're going to make a sigil tonight. Tomorrow, the expectation is that sometime during the day, you will cast it. The following day, make a journal entry. Then the next day, cast your sigil. And the following day, make a journal entry. And the following day, cast your sigil. And then on the following day, journal. That way, you have 3 full castings in a 7-day period and 3 journal entries that you can walk away from for the next class. And then we'll start again. Journal entry 1, journal entry 2, journal entry 3. And on the other side, the place to draw your sigil. So 2 sides of a sheet. One side you make into 3 equal parts. The other side is where you do your sigil. That gives you, and if you do it in a book like this, then you have all of your sigils together with a journal space for each one of them. Okay. So see the page, still sharing. Did you get to see it, Ginny? Did you get to see it?
I did, so that's all.
That's all. You're hilarious. All right. Okay. All right. Very good. So we have the 2 techniques, right? We have the masturbatory technique, which I would highly encourage. If you are pre-orgasmic, then really use the box breath. If you feel that you want to keep modesty in your magic practice, use the box breath. However, for everyone else, biggest bang for your buck, it gets breath, it gets bioelectric energy, it gets pheromonal emission, it gets circulation going, it gets imagination spark, it gets interest fine tuned. It is the most powerful method for a single practitioner to raise energy. It's fast, it's effective, which is why it's been used by magical practitioners beginning of magic. So, awesome. The 2 techniques you get to pick. All right. How do you create your sigil? We know that they're line-based. Well, there is a whole outline to this class, and you'll see it in Practical Sigilization, Climbing Down the Tree. This is Google Sheets. When you take a look in the documentation, you'll see a bunch of pictures, right? These pictures are for you. This is the tree of life that we're going to be climbing down, and a visual representation of it that makes it easy for you to kind of visually grasp. We'll be using this during the meditation portion. This is the tree of death. You can begin orienting yourself to the concepts and ideas that we're going to be so we're going to stand in each, oh, you aren't seeing this, I'm not sharing. Let us share. One more time. Here we go. Okay. So this is the tree of life and a visual representation of it. We'll be using this for our meditations. Tonight, we're going to be spending in this beautiful white zone up here in Kether. This is the tree of death. As you can see, each of these nodes we're going to spend time in, and we're going to be looking down the roads that each one connects to. Just like this, you can see the fifth palace of wrath actually has road 21, 24, 28, 29 connected to it, 4 separate roads in one palace. And we'll be pathworking in there and meeting the benefactor Baal of that node, and he will help us to fine-tune our work and our intent. Looks like I think maybe I froze the share. Are you guys seeing the tree? You're still seeing Vital Sin, aren't you? There it goes. Okay, awesome. All right, flip to the new. This is the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. There are 3 pages in this, where on the first page, I collate a bunch of things for you so that you can kind of begin orienteering, right? One of those is the planetary or astrological correspondences with each of these nodes. There is the what the Jewish word stands for that represents it: ox, earth, camel, house, door, window, nail. Various keywords: the threshold of all worlds, the manifestation, the mystic road, the road of discovery, the ecstatic road. Right on the next page, you'll find things like soul parts. We're talking the astral soul, the intuitive soul, the observing soul, the chakra systems. On another page, you find where on earth? Oh, there it is. Yep. We'll find things like the tarot cards that correspond to all of these. I think it's page 2. Yes, the 4s, the kings, the cups, the knights, the pages, the princesses, the fool, the magus, the papess, the empress, the hierophant, the lovers, etc. correspond to each of the nodes on this tree. Okay. And it's real simple. It starts with the numbering is actually backwards, right? We're starting in tether, but the number will not be 1. The number will be 0, right? And then we're gonna move our way up to 10 lines, and all the way down again to 11 lines when we're completed. But 1 week is going to be 10, the next 9, the next 8, the next 7, the next 6 lines, right? So tonight we're going to do the 10-line sigil. By the time we get to the bottom of that tree, we're going to be doing a point, and there will be a specific way that we do the point. But your job is to sit back, try and imagine the space that I'm going to take you to, have as much of an astral journey as you can with this, allow it to provide guidance. Once we're done with the visualization, you'll come to your page and you'll put 10 lines on this page. Just 10 lines. Okay? They can be connected. They can be disconnected. They can form a pattern or be chaotic. Now is the point where I want to show you some of how other people have treated sigils. If you look on the left-hand page, this is from a magical diary, and you'll notice that this particular magical practitioner is using not only letters from another alphabet, drawings, sigils. The sigil is on the chest. If you look really close on the chest of the zoomorphic god, you'll see that there's a sigil drawn there, which is simple circles and lines, right? Here's another sigil. This one from a book called The Azawisha by Andrew Chumley. And as you can see, it's incredibly complex, with parts of it being almost draftsman quality drawings next to this is the altar, isn't it? So if we look really close, you can see there's a cup and a candle, there's a book of shadows, there's another candle, there's a blade, and you can see that the smoke of the incense itself forms this beautiful dragon head that's rising out of Andrew's practice. Here's another one with equal clarity and complexity of parts, where he actually begins using his sigil to investigate the nature of the magical entities that he is meeting, and using line and letters linked together to begin his magical work and appeal. Here's another type of sigil that does a simple invocation. And really the sigil is just a box with a line on the bottom. It was an invocation to Eshu, right? And if you look closely, those are cowrie shells, right? Of course, cowrie shells for his eyes and his ears. Awesome. So I've included those for you to get an idea of some of how you can use sigils in your own practice. One of the best exemplars I found, please review it on your own time, is this series of photographs called Wurm, in German, worm or dragon. And where this artist goes just like we are going to, from a large number in a reduction. You notice there was almost 10, now there's like 6 serpents in this one. You look again and there's 4 serpents in this drawing. So each piece of art, there are only 3 dragon heads in this one. In a progression that is numeric, this magical practitioner and artist has explored the ideas inherent in the numeric equivalencies. 3, of course, it's the first social number, right? It's beyond the duo or 2 or a couple that forms a dynamic tension. Once you put 3 in, it becomes social. That's why 3 of cups is celebration. Because finally we have a group coming together for something other than creating the battery of positive and negative. Awesome. So we're going to be doing that with our sigils. We start at 10 and work our way down. So today, what you're going to do when we're done with the meditation is put 10 lines on your page. Okay, questions? No questions. Awesome. The lines that you put on your page will be the sigil that you cast. And as I mentioned before, feel free to take for yourself time to deepen into your sigil, explore it, draw with it, meditate with it, fine tune and craft your intent with it. Okay. And all I want Release here for me. Want that a little out of my way. And we're going to go ahead and, if there are no further questions, we're going to start on the actual path working. So a little bit of context about the tree of life and the tree of death. I showed you the glyphs, and the glyphs are available for you in the bonus material. And please do avail yourself. And if you have questions, please do reach out to me directly through the Facebook site and ask your questions. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Think of the tree of life in these terms. It is not only a learning device like a mnemonic, but it also is a diagram of the mental and supra-mental or spiritual states that are possible for us to perceive while in a body. The node that we're looking at today and the what we're going to call a mansion is the white tower of Heather. So this idea of the all of the possible states that you can be in, both mentally, supramentally, spiritually, physically, begins at the sum of all things unseen and seen, the Godhead. Now, I say Godhead, but what I really mean is goddess head, Godhead, they head, her head, all things seen and unseen. Both a spiritual reality that is and is inescapable because we are part of it, the mystical experience, what I'm trying to point out here. And the absolute reality that is in front of us. You know, we craft the universe by shaping it ourselves. And hopefully we have above us some God soul, some Heather, the white power in front of us on our screen, for us to listen for messages, directives, changes in our life. This is the part of ourselves that when we are in our deepest relaxed and most perfectly satisfied state, we would use the word God or goddess to express the idea that is this power. And this tower has 3 roads that lead to other towers. What I would like you to do is I would like you to imagine, if you can, that this beautiful 1,000-petaled lotus is a giant glass tower, and you're standing at its center. The light that you see, the white light that you see, comes not from any source, but from the tower itself and the air all around you. And as you stand there, you realize that this is the most parental and loving, that this is the most nurturing and supportive, that it's conscious light, that not only can you see this light, but this light sees you. This white, pure white light. And not only does it see you, but it sees all things seen and unseen. Not just sees them, but flows into, through, and out of them as the manifest creation. And you're standing here. You have been teleported into the center of this beautiful, intelligent, living, and loving power and source of universal light. I'd like you to take a minute to breathe deeply this light, a light that loves you, you realize, as you begin to feel what love feels like moving through you. Every breath, love in, breath out. Light in, breath out. Pure white. And out of the white walks a being. And this being has a name. Its name is Metatron. 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 So when you say this being's name, say it correctly. Metatron. Say it in your head before you say it in this space. Metatron. And this being is approaching you, looking directly at you. And it gives you a sign. It covers its ears, and it's trying to get you to cover your ears. And of course, your ears are not your physical ears. It just means brace yourself. I'm about to speak. So in this space and in your astral form, cover your ears and brace yourself, because Metatron is about to speak to you. Metatron speaks one word, your name. And then shows you that you can take your hands down, and uses a radio that he pulls out of his, from behind his robes, his beautiful white flowing robe. He has a radio, and he can tune the radio, and as he tunes the radio, he'll stop on words, and you'll hear words speaking to you. And Metatron has a message specifically for you, each and every one of you. Allow yourself to have your time with the mouthpiece and voice of God herself. You can say whatever you need to say. You can hear whatever message Metatron has for you. Breathe deeply in and out the white light of Kether, the white power. Listening to the radio that Metatron uses. Once you've received a message from Metatron, whether it be a single word or sentences, I want you to type into the chat box the word yes. If you wish to journal, which I highly encourage, that interaction, take a few moments to journal it. When you're done, we'll move on. Something, of course. Need some people thinking in. Awesome. For those of you who are still with Metatron, continue your time with Metatron. For those of you who are ready, you see now, as Metatron steps aside, that there are 3 doors in the tower. They're far from you, but you could reach them. In one of the doors is green. Lush, beautiful green. That one is directly ahead of you. If you look to your right, you'll see a brown door with flecks of black. If you look the other direction, you find a gray door with flecks of blue and gold. And they're like any other glass door. You can see through it, and you can see beyond it a realm of gray, and beyond it a realm of brown, and beyond it a realm of green. These are places that you will go to on your journey, but not tonight. And behind each of those doors stands another entity. You can see them. Perhaps they have wings. Perhaps they have horns. The robe. They are of no gender and both genders. Angels or demons. Gods, perhaps, or bodhisattvas. They're waiting for you, and they will guide you when it is your time to walk down that path. Breathe in the green, the brown, and the gray. Thank Metatron for the time that you have spent and for the message you received. It was given with no expectation that you give back, because like this place, it is made of pure light and pure love. The most whole, sound, perfect love made just for you. And knowing that this is your last breath in this gorgeous power of glass and white light, breathe in deep and let go. And come back to the place that you are. And take your book and your pencil and allow yourself to draw 10 lines. Remember, these are lines that you will want to use during your casting. I've always found that if you respond to and can remember curlicues, do curlicues. If you love and respond to lines with hooks or darts or other flourishes on them, then avail yourself of that, and please make your sigil like that. If on the other hand I respond to straight lines, free flowing lines, intersectionality, I like pattern. When it happens, I really lean into it and embrace it. When chaos happens, I try and flourish it. I like letters with feet, right? I like to have feet or terminators on my lines. So I like circles and darts or triangles on either end of my lines. However you want, because you're going to have to stare at this and cast it. So make it something that you find beautiful and terrifying. All gave some feedback. That's really interesting. If you have physical sensations while doing this work, observe them. If they become habitual or patterned, this may be how energy moves through you. Be aware of it. If it, like this, becomes acute and painful, stop what you're doing. Approach it in a different way. And when you have finished your sigil, type into the chat word yes. Oh, I've become stare already. That's funny. Okay. So just for some context, here is here's mine for this week. So I will be casting this sigil 3 times. As I said before, one of the things that I will do is I'll reapproach it tomorrow with color, more shape, more form. I will likely photo montage it and try and hone my intent. I got really good information from Metatron about what my intent is supposed to be this week and what I'm supposed to be listening for as far as messages from the universe. And the sigil itself came out to me really unlike anything I ever do. And that tells me that I'm on the right track. I'm exploring new ground. I haven't been in this sort of magical space before. Awesome.
Yeah, yours is beautiful, Chantal. I love it.
Oh, thank you. I think yours is gorgeous too. I would love it if you
Thank
would
you.
grab the screen share and show it if you're willing.
Sure, I can show it. Yeah. Here.
Do I need to make you host again?
Oh, it's okay. I did
Mhm.
it. That's mine, if everybody can see.
Yeah. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
It's
Love it.
definitely really different from most of the ones that I make. So, which is awesome.
Yeah. Also awesome. Yep. That's right. Yeah. Yep. 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 Mhm.
And thank you so much, everybody. That's so sweet. You guys are so sweet. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, good feedback. Good feedback. That's awesome. Yeah. So just so that everyone knows, your sigil is your sigil. There are ways to make sigils in classical magical contexts that are very specific. We're not going to be doing those. Every one of the sigils that you will do with us is going to be just like this, where you go through a meditation, you meet an entity, they'll have messages for you, and then you will put to page your lines to create a sigil you will cast. So this is going to be my 3 castings, right? And with each casting following day, I'm going to make a journal entry. Now, the true work of this really comes in later observation afterwards. Once you've made an established practice of casting sigils and journaling results, whatever those be. I had a student recently who was like, I was very aggressive the next day. Awesome. put that in your journal. Ooh, this is cool.
That's so pretty. I love it, Maddie.
That's on the whiteboard. That on the
Or
whiteboard.
honey. I'm so sorry, honey. This is honey's, not Maddie's. It's so pretty, honey. I love it.
Wow! 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 Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Yeah. So awesome. Yeah, you guys got it. This is great. No, this is great. I think everyone is really picking up the concept well and running with it. And it looks like all of you really intuitively jumped in and dove in and didn't get yourself complicated with like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? The journal entries are anything and everything. Whatever you feel is relevant the following day after a casting, put it into your journal entry. Now,
And
the,
Rain,
the
if you just upload it to Google Drive, then I can and send the link. I'll click on it and show everybody. Or you can just send me the image and I will pull it up on my screen. So sorry, Shantat, go ahead.
no, that's okay. And while we're looking at these, once you have an established practice of this, right, and you have journal entries for a little bit, right, start going back to your journal entries and reviewing them. And what you will find are patterns begin to emerge from the journal entries. Either you will see keywords, key concepts, either personal complexities that you keep bumping it up against, questions that are unanswered. You may see that you have a spirit guide or an animal guide because every time you cast, you see a hawk or a blue jay or a bee, something like that. These observations should be added to your journal entries. So you could even go back and forward through these castings and journal entries, adding more notes, coming to a deeper understanding, asking new questions, coming to other conclusions about what these might or might not be for you, and of course, manifesting the entire time, right? The whole point of this is you make 1,000 copies of your deepest wish and desire, and you hand them, or you make a copy of it and say 1,000 copies, please, and you hand it up to your God soul. Remember I said, oh, there it is. I want to see it on the big screen.
So this is Rain phase.
This is Rain's.
Yeah, this is Rain's. This is beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful, amazing work. Wow, really, really lovely. And that's going to be easy to cast, and it'll give you scoogy heebie-jeebies, which is awesome. The more emotional response you have to your sigils, the better they will work for you as a focus of your energy. Gorgeous, gorgeous work. Really lovely. Yeah, so review frequently once you have entries. One of the practices that I wrap into this, what I call best of big chief. Now, what does that mean? Some of you may remember the big chief books that we used in grade school to learn penmanship. And oh, look at that. Is that Jackie?
This is Katrina.
This is Katrina. Wow. No. Yeah, the dynamite work, everyone. These are going to be easy for you to cast. What was I saying?
Can I actually show you mine then, Shantat?
Yeah, please.
Okay, because I can't figure out how to send it to Alex. So let's see if I can. Can you see?
Yes, I can. I sure
Oh,
can.
that's awesome. I love it.
Nope, that's gorgeous, gorgeous. Good. Yes, these are going to be dynamite. These are going to be really fun and dynamite to cast. So best of Big Chief is what I was talking about. Yes. One of the practices that I have and that I encourage with this, and we'll actually have several long pauses in the class series for vacation on my part. Divination Academy is going to be going to Dragon Fest. Please do, if you have not, register and buy your tickets. If they're going to be guiding the main ritual, so please do. Head on down to dragonfest.org and take a look at it. If it's suitable for you, please go. While you guys are at Dragonfest, there'll be a long pause. These would be appropriate moments to do a best of Big Chief, which simply means go through all of the previous entries, your journal entries, and pull out keywords, concepts, power, ideas, images that move you, things that frightened you, and compile them into either a mind map or a painting or another sigil. Some of the students in the past have done a combined sigil where they take those sigils from the previous entries, make a master sigil, and cast that. I would highly encourage all of these particular practices with a review to the journal entries. If you can't begin to wrap yourself around building a vocabulary of synchronicities, you will never be able to grasp the weapons that the universe is handing you to do more martial magic. So watch for signs, watch for portents, do your daily pulls. Do not stop using any of the tech that you already have on board and online, and add to it now. 3 times a week, you cast a sigil and you make some journal entries. You go back every couple of weeks, you look at your journal entries and you see if there are patterns or, other simple things. I tried to manifest a fucking cup of coffee, and guess what? The next day, someone just bought me a cup of coffee without me asking. Boom, guess what? You just did manifestation magic. Journal that shit, mama. Journal it, journal it, journal it. Repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. Right? State your clear intent to God. 1,000 copies, please. And let her take that, run it through her Xerox copier, and give you 1,000 copies of exactly what you need and want. Lessons. We all know how to cast, right?
I think Paul missed that part if you wanted to.
All good. Okay. All right. So, Paul, there are 2 techniques for casting your sigil. Right? You have to keep the line work in your imagination, which is why we use line work. It's easy to hold in the imagination. You can either use a box breath, which is inhale, hold it, exhale, hold it, and expand that box, make your breath longer and longer and longer, to the point where you've maxed out how much air you can hold in your lungs and how long you can actually wait to exhale without dumping your breath or gasping for air. Right? And it looks really simple. Well, look at that.
This is Paul's.
This is Paul. Awesome. So, Paul, you'll do a box breath for 5 to 6 minutes. On the very end, you at the largest scope of your breath, when you're, say you start at a count of 4, on your inhale, 4, hold it, 4, exhale, 4, hold it. Let's say you get to 12, and so you're doing 12 heartbeats to hold, to exhale, to inhale, to hold. On the very last breath, you choose one intentionally, and then sip, 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 sip it, sip some more air, hold it as long as you can till you think you're going to pass out, and then let all the accumulated energy and air into the sigil. Then lay down, close your eyes, forget the sigil. That's technique 1. Technique 2 is masturbatory technique. So in your sexual sphere, whatever it is that you're making love to, having sex with, whatever it is that you're enjoying, emblazon it with this sigil, right? There's another absolutely gorgeous one. Look at that. And either that's on the chest of the entity that you're having sex with, or on the forehead, or it's all through their body, or it's just a big tentacle monster in the shape of your awesome sigil, and you're just like going at it with that. But you keep your energy, see if you can hold off your orgasm, hold it off, raise more, go back to the sigil, until you cannot stop yourself anymore from your orgasm. When you do, you blow it all into the sigil, and then fall back, close your eyes, forget the sigil. Now, there are several other magical techniques that do stuff with ejaculate. We're not doing anything with that. So we're not doing the OTO practice of calcification, reconsumption. We're not doing Paretza, where it's like edging. We're not doing any of that. You allow yourself your sensuous and beautiful orgasm and throw all of the energy directly into the sigil. All right.
Okay, wait, there's one more that somebody sent me. I'm trying to get through all of them. Hold on one second. I want to get.
Yeah, I want to see more of them. If there are more, let's look at them.
There is more. If I can. Oh, here we go. Okay. And
Oh, alignment to really, yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah, essentially what you're doing is you're tuning yourself using the sigil, and then you're releasing the tension and force and power that you're raising through breath, electromagnetic, pheromonal, all of it. Wow.
so this, I don't know what your name is on Zoom. I forgot, but your name is it Shan? Is this Shaniqua's? Or on Facebook your name is just Liv. But I don't know what your name on Zoom is. I'm so sorry. Yes, it's Shaniqua. So this is Shaniqua.
Good. These are awesome. What's up, everyone? I'm really super impressed. Do we have more that are coming in?
Let me
A
check.
lot of emotion. Yes, there is a lot of emotion in that one. There's like actually a couple of these have had a lot of either really there you can tell there's a lot going on, or it's super emotional, or it's really like, ooh, what's going on there? A bit spooky. I love those. Really, the best thing that you can do for yourself is try and create a sigil that you yourself, that raises the hair on the back of your neck when you look at it, because then there's real power there, and we want to tap that. We want to tap into it.
That is all the ones that I got sent. But yes,
All right. Awesome, everyone. So here's the key about, so there will be a password to get into the next class. And I just put it in the chat. It is Metatron. So if you're watching this after the fact, the password to get into the next class is Metatron. Now, what did I mean by the stand and deliver? At the stand and deliver, you would be expected to not only show all of your 22 sigils if you don't attend all the classes, but you do it virtually. Then your stand and deliver is, here are my 22 sigils, here are my journal entries, and these are the passwords for each class.
Awesome. That's a good way to do it.
Okay, so the meditation, yes, I would highly, so in the class materials, the image that I used for the for Heather is in there. That's why I include those materials for you. Not only is there a graphic of the tree of life as a whole, but each of the mansions in the tree of life are in there. So please, please, please do use the image. Pull up the image, and you can again do this meditation if you want to. Do not yet, however, go down open the doors. Now, when you are ready to open the door to the green room or to the brown room or to the gray room and walk that bridge or path, let me know. And what I'll do is I'll give you a few keynotes, a few colors, and introduce you to your guide. And then you can take that away and explore away down the tree of life. And yep, that's right. Brace yourself. Wall says. Yeah, that's right. And yeah, and you can begin doing true pathworking, which is just exploring this astral zone that intersects with larger spiritual entities that are real, by the way, and in this context and space, perfectly safe and absolutely dangerous. The tradition that of my tradition always said anything worthwhile is dangerous. This is dangerous work. This is witchcraft. This is magic. And you know, it's all about personal and self-transformation. All spiritual work is self-work. And this is absolutely that. However, you know, if you really want to alter the universe, you alter your eyes first. And just like coming to a place of forgiveness, who has to be forgiven first? And when I can forgive me, it is the only time I can forgive someone else. This is so true of all of these paths in the tree of life. Good. Oh, so someone mentioned something about the color variation. So wibbly wobbly, I'm not sure what that means, but tree of life, not green. So this tree of life is the tree of life of light. Instead of using the king, queen, princess, or prince scales of color of the OTO, this does not. This taps into a deeper current where we're using the actual vibrations of the specific components of colored and white light, which are mapped in the graphic in the material. Okay. All right. More to come. Can't wait to see you for the next one. When we're gonna drop down from Kether to Kokma, and we're gonna walk into that gray realm and meet a new guide, and who is going to have interesting messages for us about duality. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We will see you next time.
Thank you so much, Shantat. I
Yeah,
hope you have a wonderful night. I'll see you next time.
Thank
Yeah,
you
you
so much
betcha.
for class.
Yeah, you bet. Hey, good night, guys.
Good night.
And push the button. Yeah, and push the button. Yeah.